I think I tried to punch him in the nuts. That play. Okay. And
I think.
Okay, let me be honestly. I just want to make sure the league doesn't have to go back and find me for this.
You good. You're not going to get fined.
So
I know Troy. I'll holler at Troy for you.
I punched him in the nuts.
Yeah, there we go.
But as I do that, the pile starts piling up on top of me, and in my hands,
you stuck.
So True Blood's like, oh, really? And then he starts giving me the business.
Yeah.
And my hands like this all the time. I'm like, man, I can't. I cannot believe. And thank God, I didn't know who saved me.
Yeah.
But thank God somebody just comes out like Superman and just hits him off me. No, I'm still under the pile. I'm still under the pile. So I can't even help Peanut because people are still on top of me. Whoever had me trapped, I'm trapped. So that's the story. Peanut, thank you. I don't think I ever thanked you for that.
No, sir, you did not. And it's on camera, so I appreciate that.
Thank you. Please,
absolutely.
Please hope you don't have video footage of this, but I was trapped, and you saved me, and that's what happened. So thank you.
What's up, y'all? I'm Peanut Tillman, and this is the NFL Players Second Acts podcast. And with me, as always, is my trusty co-host, Roman. I'm Roman Harper. I'm feeling this little outfit today, bro. What are these little pineapples?
They are not pineapples at all, but I appreciate that. It is actually President's Cup shirt I got from when I was in Charlotte when the President's Cup was there. So tell us who our guest is today. It's a former teammate of yours.
It's a former teammate of mine.
You guys know each other very well.
11-year vet, 2003 Pro Bowler. He is the head of sports and entertainment at UBS Financial Services. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the pod, Adewale Ogunleye.
Wow, Peanut.
Yeah.
And now the crowd goes crazy.
I did that.
You did.
How good was that? How good was that?
I mean, I've known him now for a long time, so I would have been a little hurt if he didn't get it right. So,
on everything we had, it just says Wale. I was just like, no, you got to pronounce get that man this. You got to say that.
I mean, my name gives people stress.
It does.
And heart palpitations. And we'll go over it so many times. I tell people, just be confident in it, man.
What's the worst pronunciation you've ever heard? Still,
people say Adewale is okay, but it's Ogunleye. Where is the D in my last? So it's Ogunleye. And still to this day, people get it. And I have a lot of Italian friends in New York City where I grew up, and a lot of them just call me Wally. So that's still Wally and Ogunleye is two of my pet peeves. Like, hey, Wally.
Has anybody ever called you Chuck?
Only my dad. I don't let anybody else call me Chuck. Only
no one ever calls him. But they call him Nut though.
Yeah. Which I thought was weird when Steve Wilkes, when I first met Peanut, well, we first became teammates, he was like, man, just call him Nut. I'm like, I don't like calling another dude Nut. I just feel weird about that. But then eventually everybody says it so much, it just kind of.
But it fits who he is, though. Yeah. He's quite crazy.
He is.
I'm not as serious as you, though.
Yeah.
I'm what I need to be when I need to be it. I think when we first met, when you came to Chicago, was it 2004 for first year?
Yep, 2004.
When you came to Chicago, we're a bunch of jokesters. Wale, very serious. And what I mean by that is when you get Wale stressed out or when he gets stressed out, I can only imagine if I were to talk to your wife or your kids, he does this.
Yeah. Or now is the she can see my jaws I'm just grinding it out But yeah, with the kids you can't be as demonstrative because even my daughter she looks at everything I do. And if I even look at her crazy, there's I see the waterworks coming. So I'm like, man, I can't be that crazy football player. I got to be.
That's my favorite thing about you, your body language. It's what are you doing? The forehead slap.
But you don't care though. You run through all signs. You yellow stop sign. You're running through it. I'll give you the warning. Nut, I'm at my wit's end. You're running right through that. You don't care. So that's why I enjoyed, even playing with you and the guys on the Bears, a bunch of jokesters. When I left Miami, I actually was down because our locker room was we had a really good locker room when I was left Miami and I got traded. But then I got to Chicago and that atmosphere just was through the roof. So the best, I know my Miami Dolphin fans are going to be mad and my former players are going to be mad that I say this, but the Bears locker room was probably the best place I've ever walked through. It was just a bunch of jokesters. But when it came time to suit it up on Sunday, man, we kicked ass. So it was good stuff.
Do you think it was the best locker room because you won more? Like, because that usually matters ultimately, because you had some great years in Miami as well.
Yeah, you know what? I think ultimately in Miami, I was like the young pup. I was grinding. I had something to prove. So it was a little less fun for me because I was trying to get that big contract.
Mm-hmm.
I think in Chicago, not only that we were winning, I had money in the pocket, right? So now I'm enjoying a little bit more, right? So
let's talk about that. So you signed the 6-year, $33 million, which at the time was...
Listen, at the time, it was the biggest unrestricted free agent contract that the NFL's ever had.
Wow.
So absolutely.
Yeah.
Like it was a lot of money back then. Now you're seeing what these guys are signing now.
Yeah.
That's not even a signing bonus anymore. Right?
No,
So,
it ain't. Not at all.
I asked that because Peanut, when big money shows up, right, to Chicago now, because they traded for him now, because you big money, all right, that's how they call it. What did Wale bring to the Bears locker room that was already very jokester? You guys are very much so very great and together, especially on the defense side. Bringing in a more serious guy with big pockets like Wale. What was that marriage like when you guys all got together?
He brought a pass rush that we were somewhat missing. I mean, we had Alex Brown. We had a good D-line. I think he made our D-line better. You know, I think he complemented Alex Brown lining up opposite of him. And what he was able to do fresh off of a Pro Bowl. So he was hot. He had some juice left in the tank. And we went out and had some really good defenses early when he first got there.
I loved it.
Because that was Coach Smith's first year, 2004.
Yeah.
So he got there the first year. We were trying to figure out who we were as a defense, trying to learn this new system. And we really were the St. Louis Bears because everything that the Rams had been doing, that's literally that whole year we had only watched film on the Rams. I remember a really good story. I actually saved his life.
Oh my God. Here we go with this.
Wait.
Before you go into that, because I knew you were going to talk about this part. Let me first tell you what I think. Let me tell you what I think I brought. And I think it helped out before he goes into saving my life, because I get a call on this like once every 3 months that Peanut's told somebody the story that he saved my life. So you're going to want to hear about it. But I think from a competitive standpoint, like a guy like with Alex, like he and me, like it wasn't something that we've written down or even vocalized, but there was a competitiveness that between us, like who was going to be the better defensive end every single practice, every single game. And I think I brought that, and I actually probably, I feel like both of us were each other's battery in each other's back. So that was great. And then also too, I think for the younger guys, like knowing that I had cornerbacks like, Peanut and Nate Vasher, who if I could just do just a little bit better and get them the ball out earlier, they were going to make things happen. So for me, I think ultimately I brought a steady hand, but more importantly, I think the competitiveness of how to play a great defense. I had came from a defense that we had, Jason Taylor, Zach Thomas, Tim Bowens, Patrick Surtain, Sam Madison, Brock Marion, Junior Seau. So I played with some future Hall of Famers.
Yes.
And I was able to bring what I saw, how they worked, how serious they brought their game to practice, every single practice and then in the games. And for me, adding that with the ability to lock in when we needed to lock in, but also have fun with it for me, I think was a great opportunity. So when I did leave Miami, I was down a bit, but seeing how great the city was, seeing how great I was going to be on a team that had now future Hall of Famers also on my defense that we have. Hopefully we'll get Peanut in there one of these days. But having a team that has future Hall of Famers, young, healthy individuals, and then have a head coach that is trying to prove something too. Having Lovey was really, really great. Like he knew each person's strength and more importantly, put us in a position to win. So for me, I was able to just kind of bring a steady hand to what we were doing, in addition to now they did help me kind of like calm down a bit. Like I was too, I had to stick up my butt the whole time I was there because I felt there's pressure on me. And Chicago media is not, it's not a great place to be.
I agree. Yeah.
Because if you're not contributing, Chicago media will jump down your throat, right? So for me, there was a lot of pressure. I had that big contract you had said earlier. And then more importantly, my own desire to make the McCaskies and Lovey and who was our GM? Jerry Angelo, just make them happy for bringing me to Chicago. So I was excited about that.
Do you think you always have this certain chip on your shoulder when you're undrafted or you come from Indiana, University of Indiana? Like,
I think the chip for me starts even like further. Like one, my parents are immigrants. One, that's, you're behind. They're trying to find the American dream. You have this crazy last name that nobody can pronounce again now, and you still feel like an outsider every time. From the first grade, my first grade teacher's like,
they can't do it.
So all the way through, and I think football was actually the first time where I was able to kind of like force people to say my name right. Like I was actually like, no, I'm actually a good player.
What grade was this?
This is probably till I got to college.
Wow.
Like once I started being good in college, I could tell people like, it's not Wally, it's Wale. And it's not Ogunleye. It's Ogunleye. So I think for me, having my success was great, but every step of the way, it was like, I got to make my last name. I want people to say it the right way. I want to make sure I make my parents proud. And I want to continue to be successful, knowing that my parents came all the way from Nigeria to be here. And I wanted to find a way, whether it's not, because they really want to be a doctor or a lawyer, but I wanted to make sure that I was going to be successful in everything I did. So that chip never leaves, even to today.
Mm-hmm.
And then after you coming into the NFL and, you getting undrafted, knowing the headwinds that come from an undrafted free agent, the politics you got to fight through, having somebody drafted in your position every single year, having coaches that probably don't believe in you every single year, and you have to prove yourself every single year. So I went into camp every year thinking, I got to prove myself that I deserve to be on a 53-man roster, even when I was a starter, even when I got the big contract. I got to deserve a spot on the defense. I got to earn a starting spot, and I got to earn a way to be a captain, right? So those are the kind of things that I always kept that chip on my shoulder, and I use that like every day throughout my life now.
I definitely think it showed. You was always a good teammate, always a good captain. I know we haven't been here since Super Bowl 41, right? It's a long, long time ago, February of 2007. What's one thing that you remember about that game?
There's two things, I think. Well, three things. The first one is obviously when Devin returned the kick to begin the game and give us a 7-0 spot. There's no way you give our defense a spot like that and we lose the game. So there's no way I thought we were going to lose the game. Number two, I think watching the Giants win the next year and seeing how their D-line dominated Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, I thought then to myself, like, we should have did more against Peyton. Like, I wish I would have gotten to him a little bit more. So watching, those Super Bowls that come after us, I'm just keep looking at the D-line play, and I can't even enjoy a Super Bowl today, like, because of that loss. I can't do it. And I always start to look at internally, like, what could we have done as a D-line to make life a little bit more hectic for Peyton. I forgot, though, we played 70 plays in the Super Bowl. I mean, we gave that guy 70 snaps, and no knock to offense, but, Thomas Jones was killing. And we made some mistakes at the end of the day, and we still had an opportunity to win despite all of that against the great Peyton Manning. So I think about Devin has to return that kick. I do think that at the end of the day, I wish we would, as a D-line, would have done a little bit better, just the nature in me. And then lastly, I have, at the end of that game, we got all our equipment, and I took my equipment back home, and I still have it in my garage. And I don't know, maybe a couple of years ago, I opened it up, and inside the bag is like blue and white confetti.
Yeah.
Zip it back up again.
You're not over.
I'm not here. I'm done. Like, I want to see what's in there. I know my pads are in there, my cleats that I want to. When I saw the white and blue confetti. I said, damn, God, you don't love me, man. I mean, geez. I mean, so I wanted to open it up and show my kids, but it's still in there. So hopefully when I'm gone, long time from now, they'll open it up and they'll see.
To this day, like I was telling, I still have yet to watch that game all the way through because it is that painful.
I can't.
I actually watched it. I was not in the league. What year was that? It was
07.
Yeah, so I was. So I just got in.
We just beat y'all.
Yeah, that is true. But I was on.
You was on IR,
yeah. But I watched that game. I was low key rooting for you guys, and
thank you.
I mean, it was raining. It wasn't pretty. Your offense had really terrible. Just kind of been what they had been the last part of the season. And so, but for you personally, knowing that you started your career in Miami, that had to be special for you, though.
It was.
And for it to end in heartbreak like that, clearly it's still.
Yeah, that was rough because the locker room we used was our home locker room. So I felt like this is going to be a perfect ending.
Yes.
And me and Thomas Jones had a deal that if we won the game, we were going to go on Oprah that next day, right? So I wasn't married yet. So I was like, oh man, dude, I'm about to be on Oprah.
All of them.
Every last one of them. And I think because Oprah had a bet with David Letterman. He was a big Colts fan. And I was like, man, forget Dave Letterman. We about to do this thing. Me and Thomas going to be on Oprah. And I'm about to have everything I want in life. And it didn't go out that way. So it was bittersweet. I saw a video of the moment when Devin returned that kick, and the whole neighborhoods were erupting. So I feel like we let so many people down. And to be honest with you, I wanted to have what the '85 Bears had. When I got to Chicago, I go to an autograph signing, and I'm the new kid on the block. I just got off a Pro Bowl. And nobody was at my autograph signing. And there's an '85 Bears signing line not too far from here. I was like, that's where everybody was. So my mind is we got to get to where we got our own ring and we can have our own legacy and we can unseat, if we could, the '85 Bears. And so that's why, those guys still running around like kings of the castle.
So we kind of low-key was joking a little bit earlier today about how the '85 Bears was probably wishing we lost that game.
The moment y'all lost, they were
probably because they was like, yes, it's still about us.
You know what?
We still the old kids on the block.
I hope.
I know they didn't think that, but we were just joking.
Because at the end of the day, the way I think of it is, we got ours, I get yours. Hopefully it's one family, but because they are treated as gods in Chicago, I can see that. You don't want to share that spotlight.
I'm telling you, I have a former teammate of mine. I'm not going to call his name out, but he knows who he is. He weighs over 300-something pounds. Just so you guys pick it out. From the Saints Super Bowl, we were all there at the Rams-Saints game in New Orleans where it looked like pass interference, where everybody thought it was pass interference and they didn't call it. I had a guy that was like, yes, can only be one.
Oh, man, dude.
Because he's the moment somebody else wins it, yours just doesn't have as much esteem. Your team is not in the upper lore that it is. If you're the city that only has one Super Bowl and you happen to be on that team, you kind of can just say your way forever.
That's like the 72 Dolphins, right? They're over there popping champagne.
Every year.
Every single time.
Still.
So,
all right, so you signed a 6-year contract for $33 million. Large amount of money back in that time, still today. What was one of the first splurges you bought?
First splurges that I bought, which I'm not proud of, I bought a baby blue Bentley.
I was hoping you said that thing was clean.
Oh, it was.
What kind was it?
It was a GT Continental. Yeah.
I mean, he had nobody riding with him.
Nah, just me. I didn't want to put tint on it. I want people to see inside, see who it was. But the problem, now that I'm in the financial world, not only the fact that it was a dumb purchase, the car cost more than the house I was living in Miami at the time. And so I'd pull this baby blue Bentley into a garage where the house was actually worth less than the car. Okay, priorities were messed up. But I got baited into buying it because I walk into the dealership and the dealer looks at me and goes, something like, he doesn't say specifically you can't afford this, but it's like, I don't think you know what this price is. And I was like, oh, okay. So I called my person up. I said, hey, this is how much this cost. Can I get it right now? He said, you could. I said, would I be going broke if I did it? He said, no, you wouldn't. But if you want to get it, get it. And my stupid butt bought it cash from the dealer that was insulting me, just to prove to him that I could buy it cash. So if I had to do it all over again, I would still buy the car.
Just from somebody else.
But from another dealer.
Yeah.
Because that's where I think one of my that was my first splurge. And since then, though, I've been super conservative. Like, I just felt like I had to get that itch off of me and take care of my family. And actually, I've saved pretty much most of it. And I'm proud of that. But at the end of the day, I had to have that one splurge, and that's that Bentley.
Yeah. Don't be too conservative. It's okay. You're talking about family here. What was it like to be able to possibly tell your mom and your dad, you know what? You're good.
I got the benefit of my parents knew nothing about American sports. So I didn't have the dad that was like, you got to do this for us. They really wanted me to just have a good education. So for me, the people who actually told my parents were their coworkers. Like, why are you still working? I just saw in the New York Times, your son just signed this contract. And my parents, they're hard workers. Both of them got their master's degrees. And I appreciate their approach to life because they really didn't, they didn't care. They had busted their tail enough. They had already purchased their first house probably when I was in college. Mm-hmm. They had reached in their mind what the American dream was going to be. Mm-hmm. Middle-aged Americans, which, by working 2 or 3 jobs, and then me being able to pay for college at Indiana, that was where I thought was going to be my peak. I'm going to leave college without any debt. My parents were still paying off their student loans. But for me to leave Indiana without debt was going to be my peak. Obviously, God had other plans. So when I told my parents, Mom, I hear what you're saying, but do me a favor. Just give me like 4 or 5 more years. Now, remember what I just said. I just signed this big $30-something million contract. I said, give me 4 or 5 more years. Let me stack the money because obviously nothing's guaranteed except that signing bonus.
Absolutely.
Okay. So you see 30-something million, but that's not what it means. And even if I get the whole 30-something million, it's actually
still like 18.
Right. After taxes.
Uncle Sammy took his, yeah.
So let's wait. What I'll do for you though is I'll take care of all of your bills. So I won't buy you the house yet. I won't buy you the car yet. I know I promised you I was going to buy you that house, but if you be patient with me, from what I understand about my finances, let it stack a little bit, and then I'll buy you the house and take care of you. So for the next 5 years, even while I was with the Bears, my parents were still working. And they didn't have any wants, any needs anymore because I was taking care of all their bills, but they were allowing my money to stack. So I played out the 6 years. So I got all my money. And the funny thing about it is when I actually finally bought them a house, I paid cash for it. I looked at my bank statement and I didn't see a change in my account. So I called my financial advisor. I was like, yo, that check was supposed to go out for the house of my mom, for my parents' house. He said it did go out. So, but the problem is I was making so much money off of my investments and the money that was in there, I didn't see a difference. So that's why I'm super proud that my parents warrant those, you've got to do this for me. Mm-hmm. And I know that's probably going to go into something else we're going to talk about later, but I do feel like in our communities, if we have a little bit more patience when it comes to our money and let it stack and let the money move forward instead of moving backwards, we have more power with our cash. And that's kind of my example on how I live my life. Is like, let's do things the right way. Let's be patient. Especially with these college kids now with NILs. Like when we were at college, we had pizza and ramen noodles, and it was the best time of our life.
Yeah.
Why do we have to start jumping into, champagne and Wagyu beef the next day out of college? So my thing is, being patient with it. And I think it really boded well for me. But again, not everyone has parents like myself.
Well, who taught you that though? At some point, somewhere, someone had to teach you, or something went off in your head. It was like, wait, I got to save this. I got to spend this. Yeah, I could retire my mom and dad right now, but I could probably be in a better position if I do it 4 or 5 years from now. So like, did you have a coach? Was it a financial guy? Was it Just your own.
Just afraid to lose it. You know, and I think a lot of times people like say, you're losing money because inflation, you're not investing it. I say like actually those years that I was just keeping it in savings, I was learning.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is when you come from a place where it was like 6 people in a 2-bedroom apartment in New York City, you ain't trying to go back to that.
No,
so
absolutely not.
You're super afraid of losing it. And then when you speak to financial advisors, they're talking to you in like German or Chinese. Like it's not even making sense. What are you talking about? Like liquidation and equity and basis points, something. What does that all mean? So I was actually super scared. So I just saved all my money. It wound up being the thing that actually saved me because you saw a lot of, I'm sure you guys know too, a lot of our teammates, as soon as they got that cash, they spent it. They had to buy mom a house. Hopefully parents were married. If they're not, then now you got to buy 2 houses. You got to buy 2 cars for mom and dad. So I was super lucky in the sense that my fear kept me from making big mistakes. And then 2, I had parents that were super patient with me when it came to money.
I want to ask you about this white paper idea that you got going on at UBS, right? The common thread amongst those who experience a meaningful and second careers is a steadfast belief that the same drive, ambition, and hard work that's propelled them into stardom. Is that kind of where you are right now within your second act, being the director of sports and entertainment at UBS?
Yeah, man. I think a lot of the things that we've learned in sports, especially in football, is some of the best characteristics and strengths that help us propel in corporate America.
Yeah.
We understand teamwork extremely well. We actually long for, I don't want to say criticism, but we do long for correction, coachable, right? And we're able to like have 2 tracks of my team success and my personal success, and they don't conflict, right? We're able to do it at the same time. And I think people in society have a hard time of finding that balance between I want to be successful, but I also want to do what's best for everybody else. I think football players and team, oriented sports, and people who are successful in that actually can go into corporate America and do that easy, right? My line manager correcting my behavior or telling me that I need to do something a little bit better. I'm like, oh, thanks, I appreciate that, because we come from a space where if coach stops talking to you, he's giving up on you. Right. So my thought process is let's continue to pour into athletes. Too many times I think in the financial industry, they look at you and your family as a transaction. How much money do you have? How much money we're going to make off of you? And we don't talk about legacy. Like, what are we going to do for our communities, for our families? What are we going to leave behind? And that's kind of what my role at UBS is like, let me connect the dots. Let's move away from this transactional state that we've always been. Let's get away from the headlines where you see, athletes losing hundreds of millions of dollars. Don't have to say any names, but it happens. Yeah. And let's start looking at, the wins and people who are good men, who are upstanding citizens, people who are upstanding wives and good women, and who want to do best for their communities. And I really feel like it's our obligation at UBS. Listen, UBS manages almost $6 trillion of assets. That's 6 with a T. So I really feel like there's an obligation for people who have been given so much to teach and to help build legacies in some of the places where we haven't had the best guidance. And I think athletes sometimes, because of who we are and we're focused on winning that championship, we get taken advantage of.
I'm just sitting here listening to you eloquently kind of talk about how like athletes themselves, because we're such good teammates naturally, right? Because we grow up in this what's best for the team mode, but then we know how to put our own personal goals within that team goals, so we're all going the same way. It's almost like driving on the interstate, and sometimes in the HOV lane and sometimes I'm outside of it, but we're all still going in the same way.
Okay, I like
you like that
analogy. Okay, okay.
Appreciate that.
Do you know what HOV stands for?
I do. I don't know any acronyms.
Occupancy vehicle.
high occupancy vehicle or like people in it?
Yeah,
I know it's more than like 2,
occupancy.
3.
I can't say that word super fast. Occupancy vehicle. I might have jacked it up, but it's occupancy.
Okay.
So, like, what are the things that you try and say, you know what, like, I know for me, like you try and, because you said like when these financial guys would be talking to you, it sounded like Chinese, German, it was another language.
Mm-hmm.
You know, instead of just sometimes compounding interest is your best friend.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that's simple. You can take it as a bullet point that it take you all the way, son.
Man,
take you all the way.
It's still taking you, ain't it?
Yeah, yes, it is.
Oh man,
compounding interest is your best friend. You know what I mean? It's the jewel to it all.
absolutely.
So,
and that's why it's about being patient. And I think too, like you said, like we've got to find a way, especially the financial institutions, to talk to people in the language they understand.
Yeah.
Like meet them where they are.
Yes.
And it's not about like dumbing it down, because that's not like some of our teammates, some of us are some of the smartest, hardest working, creative individuals. You'll see a lot of athletes, like look at you two, like you guys put your mind to, moving in another direction and you're killing it. Right. That's not by accident. You guys are born with something. And I think a lot of athletes that are successful on the field or on the pitch, on the baseball diamond, on the court, they have something in them that no matter what field they're in, they're going to be successful. So for us in the financial industry, why not make it easier? Why make it complicated? And why are you doing that? That's another thing. Why are you making this hard for the regular person to understand what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Right? Like as simple as you said, compounding interest, like why is that my best friend? Right? Why does it, if I invest and I'm patient enough, for every 7 years at a certain rate, I can almost double my assets. 7 years, right? So imagine if we've been doing that since we were 21. At our ages now, we would have doubled and tripled our net worth just by those simple principles of compounding interest. So again, people are doing it for a reason. And I don't want to say that is nefarious, because maybe some people it's not. But I do feel like there has to be a level of education when given to our young men and women when it comes to their finances. And that's my ultimate, goal in working at UBS. And as you guys said with my contract earlier, this isn't a job that I, wake up and say I need. I've saved every dime that I had. So this is more of my way of giving back to, I think, people who have, brought some of the best memories to society known to man. I'll go back to the Super Bowl question that you asked me. Another thing that I do remember of that was that I looked in the stands and I saw moms and dads and Asians and Hispanics and blacks and whites either booing or cheering for their team or against another team. And I realized, like, sports, we brought so many people together. We've made so many memories for families. So the contracts that these young men and women make, they deserve it, because we're creating memories that last a lifetime. We're building communities. We're bringing families together. And I feel like for a financial advisor to not do right by their players, it's just wrong. And the financial institutions, we should be doing more to make sure that the lives of our, athletes and entertainers are put in the right direction because of all of the goodwill that they've put forth in all our communities.
Now, Wale, you've made a lot of really good decisions, right? Like from when you left college, going undrafted, saving your money, all these other things. So when you do hang up your cleats, right? Like, how do you know you're ready to get into that next chapter? And how did you figure that part out and kind of maybe walk us through that journey? Because ultimately that's the key ingredient, I think, to a lot of success once we're post-career, because
finding that identity.
We do not.
How do you find it?
There is no blueprint to that.
I think ultimately it starts earlier. The league has to do a better job of speaking to young men that this isn't going to last.
Yeah.
And you're going to see a drop in chemical dependency. You're going to see a drop in depression and some of the things that happen with suicides with athletes and people who have no one thing their whole life. So we've got to have this discussion a little bit earlier. But for me, I think the benefit was that I always knew this was not going to be forever. And I go back to my parents, like they didn't care about football. Like in my house, it's My sister, who's a medical doctor, she's like the princess of our house. Just because she's a doctor. I'm like, wait, Mom, but I'm the one who bought you the house. Mom, I went to the Pro Bowl. Your sister's a doctor, right? So she gets, if there's the biggest piece of meat, at Thanksgiving, she gets it, right? Because she's the doctor. So again, I think those are some of the discussions we need to have with our younger athletes. Like, this isn't going to last forever. And then ultimately, too, we've got to start pivoting earlier than when we hang it up. And I think coaches and industry, and I think even teams are doing a better job of allowing guys to kind of have their own kind of hobbies and own different ways in the off season. When we played, if we looked anywhere outside of that football field, they were saying we were a distraction and we were distracted. They wanted people that had the blinders on and talked football, ate football, and slept football. That's not going to happen anymore. Like, you're going to get left behind if you're only thinking that your only job is a football player. Number two, when you retire, I think I retired in mid-30s. I'm going to sit at home for the rest. Like, am I just going to sit at home and do what? So ultimately, I knew I had to find something else. So I went back to school. The NFL program that helps pay for continuing education, I took advantage of that.
Yep.
That's another thing I think our young men don't do a lot in the NFL is they should take advantage of all those resources. We earned it. It's basically off our sweat that we've created these opportunities. So I took advantage of the continuing education, went and got my MBA. I wanted to go into broadcasting. Wanted to maybe do what you guys were doing.
Oh, nice.
I don't think I was built for that. But I did bump into the GM of the Dolphins through a mutual friend at the time. And in my mind, I wanted to be like one of the first Black GMs in the NFL. So I started doing like a little bit of an internship here with the Dolphins. And the fact that they were just being there 24 hours a day, no one wanted to go home. They would look down and see if the president was still in his office before they left. I was like, man, I can't be doing this, man. Like, I can't do this. But what I did enjoy on that aspect was for the little time I was here, I was getting the coffee. I was, taking the rookies around. I'm like one of the better players that played in the Dolphins history, and I'm a Pro Bowl player, and I'm getting coffee for people.
Yeah. You felt like you were part of something again.
It did. And I appreciate that because it kind of, if you want to be a leader, you've got to know every aspect of the business, right? You got to know what the guy that's getting coffee, how he feels. You got to know that assistant that drives the rookies around. Remember when we were rookies, how annoying we were? We got to feel like what's going on with them. And I appreciate that approach. And I stepped away from that internship, realizing that I still want to be successful in something I do, but I want to do a little bit more of giving back down here in Miami. So after that, I bumped into the head of private wealth at UBS. And he wanted to be a financial advisor. And I was like, I'm not into supporting one industry versus another. But what I will do is kind of help UBS in the way they should be thinking when they do bump into an athlete like ourselves. And they appreciated that approach. So for the next 5 years, we just kept going back and forth. Like, what does it look like? What do you think you want to do?
Were you working for him at this time?
No, just going back and forth, just me consulting kind of just for free. Not thinking it was going to really go anywhere because, again, I had all the money I had. Full disclosure, I was a client of UBS at the time, but I just felt like I should be at the places where the billionaires bank, right? 1 out of every 2 billionaires, has an account at UBS or has some relationship with UBS. I was like, wait, I really didn't know much about UBS when I got here. I actually thought UBS's competitor was FedEx, right? I thought they delivered packages. Everyone wore brown suits. Not knowing that this is a place where, 1 out of every 2 billionaires has an account. So that, again, another light bulb went off in my head. I was like, if I don't know this, then maybe the average athlete doesn't know this either, who has millions of dollars. So the next 4 or 5 years, we continued to kind of go back and forth and what does it look like? And eventually they brought it to me and said, hey, listen, we appreciate your approach. Why don't you take this blank piece of paper and build out our sports and entertainment business, get us all into the framework and out of the silos that we're in, have everybody doing their own thing and have one focus and mission statement of the sports and entertainment business. And for the last 7 years, I've been doing that.
How much joy does it bring you knowing that you kind of worked it out 5-6 years and then the boss or whoever it was, they basically just say, yeah, I like what you're doing. You know, here's basically a blank check. Here's a canvas. Do what you need to do for the vision that you have for UBS.
It's big, right? Because, you know, I'm not an advisor. And if we're going to be honest, this is, you know, a middle-aged white society that we live in corporate America. So to have one, not only just a former player, but have, you know, former players and African-American running the sports entertainment business in a way where I'm not actually out there, you know, saying, hey, Peanut, bring your money to UBS, but actually thinking about it behind the scenes on our strategy, pushing back on stereotypes and biases that are already built into the financial industries, and being able to say, if you guys don't like it, I don't care, but this is the way we're going to run it. And giving me that freedom to do that at a firm as big as UBS, kudos to UBS for doing that. Like it's an amazing opportunity, and I'm making the most of it. I think my ultimate goal is to get our competitors to see what we're doing and to lift the bar up so that the whole industry of finance does right by us. And when I say us, our community, the people that, you know, have put, you know, their heart and soul and blood, sweat, and tears into perfecting their craft and have gotten paid handsomely for it. Let's now be good stewards and help them with their finances.
So now we're going to get back into the I saved his life story real quick. So we're playing Tampa Bay. It's 2008. I'm running off the field, so now it's 4th down. Tampa Bay is finna punt. As I'm jogging off the field, I kind of look to my left, and I see Wale on his back.
Mm-hmm.
And he's kind of doing one of these.
Was anybody on top of him?
Yes.
Oh, he was getting, okay.
He was getting the business.
Yeah.
As the referee says, he was getting the business.
Mm.
True Blood. I don't know True Blood's first name.
It's Jeremy.
Mm-hmm.
He know.
Tampa Bay, right?
He was a right or a left tackle, dude. He was always doing something.
I think he was a left tackle.
He was big too, though. He's like 6'8". He's
now,
a big
I don't
dude.
know the particulars of what happened. I don't know if he hit you late or you hit him late. I couldn't tell you none of that. All I saw was he was like this, and True Blood was just, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Wale was just, yeah.
Oh, my God.
He was taking those jabs.
Yeah.
So me being the teammate that I am, I just ran over, didn't ask no questions, and I hit the you-know-what out of True Blood. Just took him out.
Mm-hmm.
And after I did that, Michael Clayton, receiver out of LSU, Michael Clayton, he comes over, and then me and him get into it. Now I'm fighting everybody. Now it's a team brawl. We throwing punches.
Michael Clayton ain't a small dude either.
No. Oh, but we getting it though. We getting it in.
Yeah, for sure.
We getting it in. At the end of the day, I was the only one that got a penalty.
Really? Because you hit True Blood.
Because I hit True Blood. Clayton hit me.
Well, you knocked True Blood off of me. So let me tell you what really happened. Okay. So I wasn't like this, because if I was like this, I'd defend myself.
Yeah.
Okay? So True Blood was one of them players. Like, you just go past the whistle blow. One play, I think I tried to punch him in the nuts. That play. Okay. And
I think.
Okay, let me be honest. Honestly, I just want to make sure the league doesn't have go back and find me for this.
You good? You're not gonna get fined.
So
I know Troy. I'll holler at Troy
I
for you.
punched him in the nuts.
Yeah, there we go.
But as I do that, the pile starts piling up on top of me, and in my hands,
You stuck.
So True Blood's like, oh, really? And then he starts giving me the business.
Yeah.
And my hands like this the whole time. I'm like, man, I can't. I cannot believe. And thank God, I didn't know who saved me.
Yeah.
But thank God somebody just comes out like Superman and just hits him off me. No, I'm still under the pile. I'm still under the pile. So I can't even help Peanut because people are still on top of me. Whoever had me trapped, I'm trapped. So that's the story. Peanut, thank you. I don't think I ever thanked you for that.
No, sir, you did not. And it's on camera, so I appreciate that.
Thank you. Please,
Absolutely.
Please hope you don't have video footage of this, but I was trapped and you saved me. And that's what happened. So thank you.
I really thought he saved your life, but no, it was like...
No, I mean, I had my helmet on. It wasn't doing any damage.
That's what I'm saying. When you...
That's just me.
In that locker room, imagine the next day we're watching the film.
Oh, they're probably killing you.
Destroying me.
Killing you.
I mean, and they're just rewinding. He's just you know, my head's just going back. I'm like, who is? And Lovey's probably loving it too. Like, Wale, is that you? Is that? I say, man, dude. So I didn't tell anybody that I had kicked him in the nuts or punched him in the nuts.
Yeah.
I didn't know that till just now.
Yeah, so that's a little extra.
Dude, True Blood was all, you know, being in the South Division, we played against them
twice a year.
So he was definitely a guy.
Habitual over the line stepper.
Definitely
habitually,
guy,
like
right?
over the line.
Yeah, it was, for me, it was always the True Blood guy. And then the Atlanta Falcons had a center that was just always
extra.
Yeah.
So last question for you, sir. Mount Rushmore. You get 4 picks. You can put 4 people on your personal Mount Rushmore. 4 picks, 4 people. Who would those 4 people be?
Any position or in football?
No, just in life. In life in general.
Man.
Who's helped you get to where you are?
So obviously my parents, like they're on the Mount Rushmore.
Why mom and dad?
Just because how do you leave a village of, and not literally a village, but a village of people that love you and go to a foreign place where you know nobody, set up shop, and now you have 4 thriving children, and now I think 5 grandchildren, and then living life, like enjoying. So for them, that's Mount Rushmore. Like there's nobody that I think gonna top that for me. And even my dad, like I just said, this, my dad is just like my biggest hero. Even how he deals with my mom, and you know, even when she gets on his nerves, the way he's still able to kind of like handle her, and that's probably why he has a ton of gray hairs. You know, no knock to your wife, my friend. No knock, but
you don't know her,
right? But even the way he's able to handle her, he teaches me. He teaches me a lot on even in my own relationship now with my wife. For some reason, I'm super connected to, you know, Barack Obama. I think, you know, in the way that society has said that a black man needs to behave. I think he touched every box on that. A good family man, intelligent, was one of the best, maybe was the president of his class in college, where I think he might have went to Harvard, I believe. So for that, to me, I think I just knew that I had to be that good to be successful. And I think looking at him and seeing that it was true. Like if you can check all the boxes as a black man, you can reach the highest levels of this country. So he's on top of that. If I'm really thinking about it, then maybe Steve Jobs. Really feel like he's been if he can, he probably already saw it before he passed away, but if he could really see the impact that he's had on the world, like there can't be any household that has any significant amount of money, even if they don't, that doesn't have a product that he's created. So I would put him on that.
I think that's the first Steve Jobs.
It is. It is.
So
great.
Yeah, so if it wasn't him, now I would say maybe Jeff Bezos, what he did with Amazon, but we'll leave him out of it. Maybe Oprah. Let's go with Oprah.
Okay. Why Oprah?
Because Oprah taught me that if you can make people feel a certain way, like they'll follow you anywhere you got to go. Like if you can pour into people, like the fact that she was always like giving somebody something. Like people love free stuff, right? But she made it in a way where people listened to her. She was able to create culture, you know, best-selling books. But it's because she made people, one, she was able to jump in everyone's household. She wasn't abrasive in the way and people wanted to just jump. Like she had Tom Cruise jumping on the couch.
Yeah.
We ain't never seen Tom Cruise do nothing like that before that, right? Now I'm dating myself, right? Because these young kids, I'm like, Tom Cruise, who's that? But like that's the kind of, you know, respect she had, and she became a billionaire, right? And hopefully you two are gonna do this and have people jumping on the couch. And
okay. So how do Rome and I make you feel? Coming on the podcast.
A little weird sometimes.
A little weird?
Yeah, I was like a little weirded out by both of y'all. They look like I could be brothers.
You know what though?
I always thought you guys were brothers.
I don't know if I appreciate that or not.
My older brother.
But and everybody knows he's older
How do you
than me.
deal with him though?
So I patiently. Number one, I would say I have good patience.
Is he gave you some of the gray hairs?
No, I don't. I've had these since I was.
He came out of the womb gray.
I've had
really?
Yeah. I've had these since 8th grade.
I used to think that was a part of your like, you know, your lure for like for chicks too. Like, yeah, like I'm this young guy with gray hairs. Like I'm wiser.
It's definitely a conversation starter. It's a conversation
Did you
starter.
ever use it?
All the time. All the time. It's a conversation starter.
Now you pumping his head.
Like,
Yeah, no, man, I can see it.
No, I just think it's hilarious.
Pump him up.
You know, I don't know how other people viewed me around the league. Like, because back in the day when we played, you didn't talk to other teams like that. Unless you were teammates, you didn't talk to them. You didn't like that guy.
No, but
like
you know what
teams.
though? We noticed the way crowds reacted to you making plays, and when they announce your name, like, man, they love this dude in New Orleans, man. Like and then when I was with you in the Super Bowl, we walking around at the Super Bowl, I'm like, this dude is a legend.
Within like 2 minutes, hey Roman, how you doing, buddy?
We couldn't go nowhere without them like, stopping this man.
It's the face of the SEC right here.
I mean, they love this man. So
This dude's the mayor of New Orleans, man.
so again, I don't know, you know, whatever you did, I mean, you played well, but there was something extra that had people like that were very enamored with you and love you. You're one of the, you know, the better players, not just on the field, but off the field. People love you.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
So I was a little, I won't say shocked, but I was like, damn, this dude still got it. People were stopping like, oh, can we take a picture? And I mean, Peanut just sitting there like chopped liver, like.
That's how I feel every time I go to New Orleans with this cat. I just feel like, all right,
he's the man. He's the man.
No,
I do the Homer Simpson emoji where I just kind of fade out.
It's just in New Orleans. It was very weird because like that's when my kids, like, because I'm just dad everywhere else in the country. Then I go to New Orleans, it's like everybody just loves Rome. It's like, you know, but there's a lot of times I was hanging out and all that other stuff. But man, it's been a pleasure, man. Wale, man, you're awesome. You know what I mean? I remember from the very first time I actually got to meet you at the hotel at the casino in Las Vegas. And when I was with Peanut again, my work wife. You've been outstanding, bro. And I love hearing your story. Hey, thank you for always watching and listening wherever you pick up your podcast, whether it's Apple Podcast, the iHeartRadio app. Make sure you leave us a like, subscribe, comment. Leave us give us a 5-star rating.
Yeah.
And you can also find us on the NFL Pages YouTube channel. Peanut, get us up out of here.
I'm Peanut, that's Rome, and that is Adewale and Ogunleye, and this is the NFL Players Second Acts Podcast. We out.